Hi you guys! Michelle and I are extremely passionate about eyebrows, and I've been a master esthetician for 100,000 million years. No, like really, over 18 years. These are the 4 things that you should never do when it comes to eyebrow maintenance. When I say eyebrow maintenance, I am talking about the time you have from when you get an eyebrow appointment until the next time, whether that's 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months. These are the 4 things you should never do when it comes to eyebrow maintenance. You are never, under any circumstances, going to use a razor. And I'm not even gonna bring up like a full-on Bic, but if you've ever considered that, like I'm not even gonna go there, okay? So what I'm talking about is this. As you guys know, Michelle and I are, by the way, this is just a PSA announcement. I applied self-tanner prior to me filming this video. I am like freshly self-tan. My hands, I have not rinsed off. I know my face is a lot lighter than my body and my hands look kind of weird and the neck and the whole, just go with it. Just go with it. It's Friday. It had to be done. Okay, you guys know Michelle and I are obsessed with the Tinkle razor to remove the fuzz and hair off of your face. Most of them are called eyebrow razors. Yep, you see it. This is not an eyebrow razor. It should never be used around the brow. And let me just tell you, after years and years and still doing eyebrows, I'll look at my client and go, oh, you've shaved your eyebrow. And they're like, oh, I thought I could just clean in it. It always ends in a disaster. There is no way on God's green earth that this is ever to be used to help shape or maintain an eyebrow shape. Because you're like, oh, if I just barely do, or just, I can get in there, I can do it. Well, turns out you can't. Because one slight slip of a hand, or you end up like taking off the top, or a little bit in the center, or a little bit too much. I have seen anything from full-on lacerated, is that the word? Cuts. Like people cutting themselves, trying to get the right angle to ensure they don't get one of these edges. Sure enough, between them having this new little mark on their face and half of their eyebrow gone, it did not turn out the way they wanted. In addition, they're like, oh, I'll just get these ends here. Well, they end up taking half the eyebrow out, which is not a good look for anyone, and it's always something you regret. It's like those cheese fries at dinner. I don't even care about cheese fries. I don't know why I just said that. I'm just saying it's like one of those things you're like, oh, I wish I didn't just eat like 28 breadsticks at dinner. You're like, oh, I wish I didn't use that razor on my face to try and shape or clean up my eyebrows. Same. I've done it too. Michelle has also done it. We are guilty as charged. We're never gonna let it happen again. Can you believe my spray tan hand? I can't handle it. You are never going to trim your own eyebrows. I know that you have good intentions. I know you do. And I trust a lot of you to do it yourself. We will do a whole video on how to ensure that you are trimming your eyebrows correctly if you need to. And when I say trim, I mean dust off the ends. But inevitably, what happens is people will go in and they'll think, I know what I'm doing, it's fine. My eyebrows are super long and I can just go in and trim them, and I'm just gonna, and they go and they start trimming and they go like this, and all of a sudden there's this gigantic divot. So if I had $1 for every time someone came into me, or I've been talking to someone and I'm looking at them and I'm like, they tried to trim their own eyebrows. I get it. I totally get it when they're so long and so unruly. You just want to dust them up and clean them up so you can brush them and have that like perfect look. It turns out the way that your hand is angled, and there's always one inevitably that gets that like really haggard, cut into, looks like a divot. It's a bad cut. It's a bad cut on an eyebrow is what happens. I actually respect people for trying, but you know what? There's a lot of things I'm not specialized in, I'm not good at, and so I leave it to the people who know what they're doing. I will say this, if you want to trim your own eyebrows, just set down the scissors and just go, you know what? Longer brows are way better than jagged, crooked things. It's a no. It's just a no. So you catch my drift. If you want to trim your own eyebrows, just don't. Just wait. And if you want to learn how, that video will be coming, but I'm going to teach you just how to dust those suckers. Don't think that a bad pair of tweezers are going to do the job right. If your tweezers are dirty, if they have like a bunch of mascara or makeup on them, or they're dull, or they're the wrong shape, or whatever it is, if you want to tweeze some very obvious unwanted hair, you are going to want to get a good pair of tweezers. And when I say a good pair of tweezers, that doesn't necessarily mean expensive. So I have a couple linked below that I recommend. It's not going to damage the skin and it's going to get the job done right. If you are going to tweeze and maintain during your eyebrow appointments, or if you have hair that grows like weeds, I get it. You do need to tweeze. I just want to ensure that you use the right set of tweezers, because certain ones you're jabbing, you're pulling, you're trying to get them, and then you get frustrated, and frustration turns into a bad job. That's all I'm gonna say. The end all be all tweezer for me, it's Rubis. They're from Switzerland. It's Rubis tweezers. And my very favorite brand, but I do think if you're going to tweeze your eyebrows, use a really good pair of tweezers. The final item of business, under any circumstance, do not over tweeze your eyebrows. You guys all know there's that room in your house that, whether it's the natural light or it's like the light in that bathroom or bedroom, you can just see every hair. Just step away, unscrew the light bulb, pull down the blinds, do whatever you have to do. I mean, that rule kind of applies to if you are an overpicker on your face too. Like, this is a real thing. And what you need to remember and keep in mind is I don't have boundaries when it comes to tweezing my eyebrows, because one hair leads to way too many hairs. And so think of what is your overall mission and goal of the look of your eyebrows. What look are you trying to achieve? And I promise none of us are trying to achieve that over tweezed, whoopsies, I got a little out of hand and the lighting happened to be way too good and I had the right magnifying mirror And it's oftentimes when I've had some wine and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do a little work here. I start tweezing, you get heavy-handed. That's never a good look for anyone. The wine eyebrows. Tequila tweezing, that's a no in the no book. But I do want to give you this tip. If you have that beautiful dark hair that grows so fast, I understand that you do need to tweeze and clean it up and maintain in between appointments. So have a guideline, literally take an eyeliner, trace your eyebrows, and anything underneath that or above it, go ahead. Take it, put a line here, put a line here. I don't even like it straight up. I even like it in a little. If there's some hair here, go for it. But if you don't trust yourself, if you over tweeze, you know who you are. We all know who we are. So these are the 4 things that you should never do while maintaining your eyebrows. Don't forget to subscribe, and we love you guys so much. Here's to beautiful brows and having discipline in your maintenance routine. Can you believe I gotta go rinse off?